What is up, everybody? And welcome back to On the Brick Road again, the only podcast with a slightly deceptive name, because while we are in fact on a road, it is not made of bricks. But we'll be talking about bricks, so it all adds up in the end. I'm your host, Kyle, and today we have some hot news straight from the press. It's big, it's bad, it's scary. It's the gift with purchase, the GWP, for the $1,000 death slice. Dun, dun, dun! Very exciting, I know. So yeah, we're going to talk about that, and not only are we going to talk about that, we're going to do a bit of speculation about it with some informed guesses. And then I'm going to also just give a bit of an overview of my experience with guessing and estimating how this set would play out. So first and foremost, I'm going to give you the news that you crave and desire. The GWP, we have a leak from a semi-reliable source, it seems, and it appears that the GWP, the gift with purchase, is going to be a tiny TIE fighter, which we already knew, but with some kind of hangar system included, which is really strange. Because this is already just such a small set. I mean, it's like a third the size of, piece count-wise, of the most latest TIE fighter that's been out. So it's really odd, to say the least. Like, that just does not seem like enough pieces, really. Like, I feel like there should be more, right? Like, this is kind of strange. But that's the, very low piece count, less than 300 pieces. And it's supposed to include a TIE fighter and some type of hangar piece. Now, the TIE fighter has been described as very, very small, but it is in size with the Death Star hangar. So it appears that this GWP is specifically designed to be put in the hangar section of the Death Star. And it appears that whatever the hangar bay piece that's included would also fit in there and kind of hold up the TIE fighter, is what the leaker's saying. So with this in mind, I'm picturing something where you have some kind of system that attaches to the hangar bay in the Death Star, or it can be freestanding, and it holds up this tiny TIE fighter that could then be easily removed from the hangar system and brought out of the ship itself. That's what I'm kind of picturing in my mind as what this is exactly and how this is going to work. Definitely kind of strange, though. Like, this is not something that I was expecting to have this hangar piece included. So it's definitely kind of odd. I'm curious to see how it works, though, because it could look really cool to have like a TIE fighter, like propped up with like a ladder going up to the hatch in the top. Might be pretty neat. But it may not. I don't know. And it's going to be so small, so like the scaling may be off. And right now, it just seems to be a normal TIE fighter, which is really odd, because whenever we've gotten these tiny TIE fighters before, in the two previous play-scale Death Stars and in Darth Vader's castle, they've always been the TIE Advance, so it's been a very tiny TIE Advance, but this is not. So, very interesting. Excuse me, I'm a little ill. Or at least I have some pollen bother me. I'm out doing yard work. But yeah, so it's interesting. It's weird. It's dinky, but it could be cool, and I'm curious to see how it plays out. Now, talk about the minifigures. Supposedly, the minifigure lineup, and oh boy, get ready for a whammer. It's going to be a TIE fighter pilot and 2 stormtroopers. Yeah. Not exciting at all. That is a mega bummer. That's rough, dude. Like, you're telling me that this GWP is a TIE fighter and a pilot and 2 stormtroopers? Like, basic. Like, if I wanted to see some basic stuff, I look at, like, every white girl movie ever. Insert the laugh reel here. So, yeah, it's not, that just doesn't sound exciting, bro. Like, that's rough. That is really rough. especially since we could have had, like, Moff Gerard. I would have loved to have seen him in this set. I would have loved to have gotten him. We could have seen, just a Death Trooper even. Something. But it seems like, from this leak, it's pretty basic. However, I would like to put a bit of a spin on this. Because we've had another leak that, at this point, I think has been shown to be false, but I still want to mention it just in case. Because some people have said that the TIE Fighter pilot is going to be the, UCS quality TIE Fighter pilot with the arm printing. That would be really neat. I would absolutely love to see that. I would be a huge fan. I think that would be great. Now, this cannot be guaranteed, but I would still love to see it. So, hopefully, that's how that turns out. Although, again, we don't know for certain. And then also, another note to just put down is that the Stormtroopers could very well be variants. And specifically, I think they could be the Space Trooper variant. And I just want to put this down. When the leaks of the $1,000 Death Star first were coming out many months ago, I made an entire list of all the minifigures I thought were going to be in the set and in the GWP. And I kid you not, I put down that the GWP would have one TIE Fighter pilot and would have 2 Space Troopers. That was my original guess. That's what I originally put my money on. And I'm hoping that I was right all those months ago and that the Stormtrooper included in this GWP, or the Stormtroopers, excuse me, because there's 2, double trouble, are going to be the space variants. And this just seems like it would be so simple to include, because all you have to do is use the same helmet and the same legs. You update the chest print to have like a tube on it. That's it. And then you throw in a jetpack for these guys. I mean, that is incredibly simple. And the jetpack could be like the same one that they had used for the commandos that came in that battle pack. The Mandalorian Commando battle pack. That's just such a simple way to give a slightly exclusive minifigure to this GWP. Because ultimately, the Space Trooper is not well known. He's not like a beloved trooper variant. You barely see him in, I think he's in I can't remember if he's in A New Hope or he's in Return of the Jedi, but there's like 2 of them and they're like standing outside a hangar bay. And it's cool. It would be cool to get them. We've never gotten them in Lego. It would be neat. It would be just a little thing to be like, oh wow, look, we got this cool variant of Stormtrooper that's never been made before. And I think that would be a really cool thing to do. And it would spice up the GWP and make it a bit more appealing for fans that want to buy the Death Star like day one. Now, this is not confirmed, though. Right now, it just says Stormtrooper, but very well, I could see how you look at the Stormtrooper and you can't quite tell it's a Space Trooper because there's so little that's different about it. I mean, it's literally just like a tube and a jetpack. If you don't see their back, it's just like a tiny black tube. Heck, some people were already confusing the Stormtroopers in the Death Star set as Space Troopers because of a shadow. Like, that's how much, could throw off your guess, the minifigure. So, I'm really hoping that that's what we have here, is that we have Space Troopers, 2 of them, and we get a TIE Fighter pilot. I mean, I would hope for the UCS one, although well, listen, we know Lego folks, like, doggone, it ain't gonna happen, probably. But yeah, so, that's what I'm hoping. That's what we're looking at. Just to give an overview, we have a TIE Fighter that has some kind of hangar attachment to hold up the TIE Fighter. The TIE Fighter is incredibly small, and it seems that the TIE Fighter and the hangar piece fit inside of the hangar bay as seen in the Death Star, where the Lambda class shuttle is. So I imagine you couldn't fit both, maybe. I highly doubt it, though. You probably have to take the Lambda shuttle out and put the TIE Fighter in. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at. That's the current lineup that we have. So pretty neat overall. Pretty cool overall, I think. Definitely lacking, though. Like, I mean, I'm going to be honest. The idea of having a hanger holding up a TIE fighter, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like the idea of that. Don't get me wrong. But it's just so basic to have another TIE fighter. And to have stormtroopers and a TIE fighter pilot. I mean, listen, the Death Star is a very big set. So having extra stormtroopers isn't the worst thing in the world. It would bring us up from 6 to 8. Which would help fill out the Death Star. But it's like, dude, I don't want to buy the GWP, or I don't want to get the GWP so I could fill up the Death Star. You should just include enough stormtroopers to do that with the first place. I want to get the GWP because it's a cool thing on its own. I love the fact that it interacts with the UCS set it's a part of. I absolutely love that. I think that's such a cool feature to have a GWP interact with a bigger set. I love it when sets interact. But you gotta do something to spice it up, bro. You gotta do something. Like, we need an exclusive minifigure. And I'm not even talking about a crazy one. Like, Moff Drod, it's another Imperial officer. So nothing too crazy, but exclusive. These Space Troopers, again, nothing too crazy. Just a slight change of printing for a Stormtrooper, basically. Like, I don't think that's too much to ask for. So, that's my little 2 cents on that. Hopefully you found this information interesting and helpful if you are discerning still whether or not you want to get the $1,000 Death Star. Me personally, I don't know, dog. I don't know. Like, straight up now, it's tempting because it's going to be such a piece of Star Wars history. And I would love to be a part of that. And ultimately, I think that a lot of the rooms look good. I don't like the way that this is set up necessarily, but I like the set itself in some of the aesthetic aspects, but I wish it was a ball. And I think the minifigures definitely lacking, but there's some good ones. There's a lot of ones that are lacking, but there's some good ones. So it's such a tough choice. I don't know. If I buy this sucker though, I gotta milk it for everything it's worth, bro. Like, I will be making a video on that doggone thing. I will post it just so I could be like, hey, look, here's some content. Because I don't know how many people are going to be posting reviews of the set. And, I will post one so I can, get some content out of it, even though I'm a podcast channel. But yeah, so that's kind of my area, what I'm looking at. Y'all will definitely hear if I buy it. And one final thing before I go, because I still have time on my commute right now. I'm going to church, and I still have a long drive ahead of me. So I'm going to still be yapping. And what I'm going to be yapping about, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to be yapping about. I'm going to tell you about the predictions that I made. Because, dude, I'm not saying I'm great at this, but I only got 4 predictions wrong when it came to minifigures. As of now, we'll see about the GWP. That's still to be determined. But for the main set, I only guessed wrong on 4 of the minifigures that would be included. And this is a summary I made. A kind of guess I made when we found out there would be 38 minifigures. And the ones I got wrong, I said there would be 4 Imperial gunners instead of 2. I thought they would include more for manning a gun battery and the Death Star laser. They did not. So that's 2 wrong. And those got replaced with 2 stormtroopers. I said there would be 2 Imperial dignitaries, but there's only 1. The other one basically got turned into a hot tub stormtrooper. And then I said that there would be an extra Imperial officer, perhaps Moff Drod, but really just any Imperial officer in gray. But I was wrong on that, and that actually got turned into the Imperial pilot, shuttle pilot. So I only got 4 wrong. Everything else I guessed right. I'm quite happy about that. Just to, and obviously there's no way to confirm this because the only one that saw this sheet of predictions was me. So, can't confirm that I'm telling the truth here. But listen, just trust me, gang. Come on, you can trust me. I'm a dude on a podcast. I would never lie because people on podcasts never lie. That's kind of the shtick, right? Anyways. But yeah, so that was my little predictions, and I'm quite happy with how they turned out. I think they were pretty good, and I'm really hoping that I got the predictions right when it comes to this GWP. Like, I really hope that those are space troopers in that TIE Fighter build. Because if they are space troopers in the TIE Fighter build, ultimately I feel like that's gonna be just a little bit more of a push to get me to want to buy this set. Because I'm gonna be like, I love collecting Imperials, and that is an Imperial variant that I don't have, and it's gonna be exclusive, and like it's gonna egg me on a little bit more to buy this set, like day one. So I really do hope that they end up making those space troopers, or I mean that they are space troopers, so that the leaker just didn't see them clearly. If not, this is definitely going to be a very lame GWP, in the sense that like it's just boring. Like it's a pretty large GWP, all things considering, a TIE Fighter and 3 minifigures, but like still kind of lame at the end of the day, I think. Anyways, that is all the news. That is all the updates I have. We will see how things unfold, how they unravel in the coming weeks. Surely this thing's going to get revealed soon-ish, I would think. As we're about to enter September, I think it has to be revealed soon. And once it's revealed, we'll get better images. We'll know more about the set, the features. And that'll definitely be beneficial to all of us that are deciding whether or not we want to buy this thing, because we'll know more about the product. And then, of course, we'll also get that GWP knowledge, and we'll get some images of that, because right now, still no images. So crazy. But anyways, I hope you found this useful, or at the very least entertaining, while you yourself are doing a commute, whether it's to or from work or some other personal matter. I hope that it's been some entertainment and some news for you. Educational and entertainment. There's some quote like that, I think, for like public broadcast. Anyways, this has been On the Brick Road again. I don't know what to say anymore. Just have a great rest of your day. Stay positive out there. I'm your host, Kyle, and peace.